Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolits. Hoping that you will not skip my ads, it's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
The atmosphere was tense as Zane Martell stepped forward, his expression a mix of determination and irritation. His confidence was evident, his eyes scanning the crowd, daring anyone to challenge his words. The sun cast long shadows across the arena, highlighting the anticipation that hung in the air. The spectators leaned forward, eager to witness the confrontation.
Oliver, you're seriously underestimating my friend. Sure, he's only at the 9th stage of the intermediate level, but at full strength, he might just surprise you.
Laughter erupted from the crowd, a blend of disbelief and mockery. Their faces showed a mix of amusement and scorn, clearly not taking Zane's words seriously. The sound of their laughter echoed off the stone walls, creating a cacophony that underscored the disdain they felt for the suggestion that an intermediate-level practitioner could pose a threat to someone from the advanced level.
Is this the new Wolf Prince, Ryan? Did he come here to entertain us?
Crowd member one's voice rang out above the others, his words dripping with sarcasm. His laughter was loud and boisterous, setting off another wave of chuckles from those around him.
Right? Everyone knows an advanced level practitioner can easily defeat someone from the intermediate level. What a joke.
Crowd member two's smile was condescending, his eyes glinting with smug certainty. The collective sentiment was clear. They believed the outcome was predetermined, a foregone conclusion favoring the advanced level practitioner. One voice cut through the laughter, filled with a hint of genuine fear. The mention of Zane Martell's name carried weight, and it was clear not everyone found the situation amusing.
You mean like that death god Zane Martell? He's an exception. Nobody else could be that powerful.
Mentions of Zane Martell's feats brought a hush over the crowd. Even those in the advanced and expert levels had whispered about his near-death encounter with an expert-level warrior. The tension was palpable. The crowd shifted uneasily, the memory of Zane's near-legendary exploits creating an undercurrent of doubt among them.
Let's see if your man is up to the challenge. Greg, show no mercy.
Oliver's smirk was a challenge in itself, his confidence unwavering as he commanded Greg to step forward. The sun glinted off his polished armor, adding a menacing edge to his appearance. Greg stepped forward, his expression confident and predatory. He licked his saber, a grotesque display meant to intimidate. His muscles rippled under his skin, a testament to his strength and readiness for the fight. The crowd's excitement grew, eyes fixed on the imminent clash.
Yes, sir.
Eric Helm remained calm, a strange smile creeping across his face. His injuries had healed, and he was ready for a fight. The anticipation in the air was electric. The arena's atmosphere thickened with suspense as Eric's gaze met Greg's, a silent declaration of his resolve.
My name is Eric Helm. Let's have a good battle.
With a flick of his wrist, a red saber materialized in Eric Helm's hand. The crowd's laughter turned into murmurs of curiosity. This was no ordinary intermediate-level practitioner. The weapon gleamed ominously in the sunlight, its aura resonating with Eric's own energy.
I'll show you the gap between us.
Greg's taunt was filled with arrogance, his confidence in his superiority clear. He moved with the assurance of someone who had won many battles, his stance relaxed yet ready. As the two faced off, the crowd fell silent, the tension between the combatants palpable. This was more than just a fight. It was a test of will, skill, and determination, and everyone present could feel the gravity of the moment. Greg lunged, his sword flashing through the air with lethal intent. The blade cut through the air with a sharp whistle, aiming directly at Eric Helm with the precision of a seasoned warrior. The crowd cheered, their excitement palpable as they sensed the intensity of the duel. The clash of metal rang out, echoing through the arena, a symphony of combat that electrified the spectators.
Good, well done.
Eric Helm didn't retreat. Instead, he advanced, his crimson saber glowing brightly. The blade shimmered with a menacing red hue, reflecting Eric's unwavering resolve. The weapons clashed with a resounding clang, echoing through the arena. Sparks flew as they exchanged blows, each one more intense than the last. The sheer force of their strikes created shockwaves that rippled through the air.
I've been looking for a worthy opponent.
The duel intensified, their weapons sparking and clanging with every strike. Eric moved with fluid grace, his attacks precise and unyielding. Suddenly, Greg's body erupted with vital energy, his sword emitting a striking light as he attacked Eric Helm's innate spirit shield. The brilliance of Greg's sword was blinding, illuminating the entire arena in a dazzling display of power.
Pathetic. Get out of here.
Eric Helm grinned wider, meeting Greg's attack head-on. The force of their collision was immense, sending tremors through the ground. With a roar, Eric sent Greg flying, shocking the crowd and making Oliver sit up straight. The impact was powerful, sending shockwaves through the arena as Greg's body crashed into the ground with a thunderous thud.
What is Greg doing? No mercy, I said.
Despite his efforts, Greg couldn't stand against Eric Helm's relentless assault. He struggled to regain his footing, but Eric was relentless. The determination in Eric's eyes was unmistakable. He was not about to let up.
An intermediate level trash dares disrespect me? Veil blade technique.
The space twisted, light dazzling as Greg unleashed his attack. The energy warped around him, creating a vortex of raw power. The crowd watched in stunned silence, the sheer power on display leaving them breathless. The brilliance of Greg's technique was a spectacle to behold, a testament to his mastery of the blade.
Not impressive. Dragon Fang technique, bloody sky and sea.
A crimson wave swept over Greg, his body riddled with wounds. The crowd gasped in disbelief. Eric's saber radiance was like a sea of blood, overwhelming everything in its path. The force of his attack was unrelenting, washing over Greg with a devastating intensity.
Is this real? Who is Eric Helm?
Zane Martell smiled, nodding in approval. His confidence in Eric was well placed, and it showed in his satisfied expression. Zane's eyes sparkled with pride as he watched his friend dominate the battlefield.
Eric Helm is stronger than he seems. His saber skills are remarkable.
Only Oliver stood frozen, his right-hand man defeated. He barked another order, his voice dripping with anger.
How dare you, Thomas, take out that rascal. Kill him if you must.
Your Highness, but if we kill Stephen's man...
Stephen won't challenge me over an intermediate level loser. Go now.
Thomas, towering over Eric Helm, stepped forward. His massive frame cast a long shadow across the arena, his presence intimidating. The crowd's whispers turned anxious. They knew Thomas was a force to be reckoned with, and their murmurs reflected a growing concern for Eric's fate.
Thomas, he's in the second stage of the advanced level. Eric Helm doesn't stand a chance.
Thomas moved swiftly, his fist breaking through the air towards Eric Helm, who barely blocked it with his saber. The impact sent him flying, his saber carving a mark on the ground as he struggled to stand. The force of Thomas's blow was like a sledgehammer, driving Eric back with overwhelming power.
Eric Helm ready to die? Or do I need to come get your life?
Eric Helm's face was grim. He knew he was outmatched. The power radiating from Thomas was immense, and Eric could feel the pressure mounting. The intensity of the situation weighed heavily on him, but he refused to back down.
Kill me? Let's see if you can. Dragon Fang technique, bloody sky and sea.
A sea of crimson swept out once more. Eric poured all his energy into the attack, determined to hold his ground. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the two forces collided. The arena was engulfed in a radiant red glow, the power of Eric's technique clashing with Thomas's formidable strength. The energy crackled around them, creating an intense atmosphere of suspense. What would happen next? Would Eric's determination be enough to overcome the formidable power of Thomas? In the shadowed arena of Wolf City, tension crackled like a live wire. The crowd, thousands strong, hummed with anticipation. Every eye was on the two figures facing off. Greg stood tall, a sneer plastered across his face, exuding confidence and arrogance. The massive arena, carved from ancient stone and adorned with intricate carvings of legendary battles, seemed to amplify the intensity of the moment. The spectators, a mix of nobles and commoners, leaned forward in their seats, eyes wide with anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of sweat and the faint aroma of incense, a common practice before such significant duels.
Bear super cannon.
Greg's voice boomed, dripping with arrogance. His chest swelled, muscles rippling, and a demon bear's spirit erupted from his head. With a deep breath, his chest expanded unnaturally, and a surge of terrifying energy condensed in his mouth. The transformation was nothing short of awe-inspiring. The ground beneath him trembled slightly, cracks spider-webbing outward from where he stood. The demon bear spirit, a towering spectral figure, roared in unison with Greg, its eyes blazing with malevolent intent. The sheer force of his vital energy caused a gust of wind to ripple through the arena, stirring the hair and clothes of the onlookers. In a flash, a thick beam of vital energy shot out, obliterating the incoming sea of blood and hurtling toward Eric Helm. The attack was blinding, a tidal wave of power threatening to swallow him whole. The beam's path was destructive, scorching the earth and leaving a trail of molten rock in its wake. The dazzling light it emitted was so intense that many in the crowd shielded their eyes, unable to look directly at the raw power on display.
"Oh no, Mr. Helm might not survive this. Your Highness, please let me save him."
But Kevin White's plea fell on deaf ears. Zane Martell had already moved. In a heartbeat, he stood before Eric Helm, his hand raised. His movement was almost too fast to follow, a blur that left the audience gasping. Zane's expression was one of steely determination, his eyes narrowed with focus. With a swift motion, he swung at the vital energy attack. The air exploded in a brilliant burst, scattering the deadly energy into the clouds above, tearing them apart. The collision was cataclysmic, a shockwave radiating outward that rattled the very foundations of the arena. The sheer force of the explosion sent debris flying, and the sky seemed to split open, clouds parting violently as if struck by a divine hand.
His Highness Stephen intervened. Why? The Wolf Princes never interfere.
This is going to be good.
Zane Martell's icy gaze locked onto Greg, a deadly aura wrapping around him like a shroud. The crowd was stunned, murmuring amongst themselves, questioning why a wolf prince would step into a subordinate's battle. The tension in the air was palpable. Every spectator was on edge, whispering theories and speculations, the noise a low, urgent hum that filled the vast space.
Greg, that attack wasn't for a court battle. It was attempted murder, wasn't it?
Greg trembled, fear flickering in his eyes. He glanced at Oliver, seeking guidance. The entire arena fell silent, watching the exchange with bated breath. Greg's bravado seemed to wane under Zane's piercing gaze, his earlier confidence faltering.
Stephen, why are you in the arena? The court battle is for subordinates, you know that.
Zane Martell's presence was undeniable. The crowd's murmurs grew as everyone questioned what had just transpired. Why had the Wolf Prince, newly crowned, decided to intervene so decisively? The tension was like physical force, pressing down on everyone present. Eyes darted between Zane and Oliver, the air electric with anticipation.
If I hadn't stepped in, my friend would be dead. And if that happened, you and Greg would pay with your lives.
Oliver's face darkened. No one had ever spoken to him like that. Zane Martell had just become a wolf prince, and already he was challenging the established order. The crowd buzzed with a mix of shock and excitement. Whispers of disbelief and curiosity filled the arena, every spectator eager to see how this unprecedented confrontation would unfold. Oliver, usually unflappable, was visibly shaken. His authority, which had never been questioned, was now under direct assault by the newcomer.
Three great elders, Stephen's actions defy our rules. He's reckless, unfit for leadership.
Another wolf prince joined Oliver's complaint, echoing his concerns. The murmur of agreement from some sections of the crowd suggested that not everyone was on Zane's side.
Wait, it's Oliver who ordered Greg to kill. This isn't Stephen's fault.
The crowd buzzed with excitement, witnessing a rare, heated confrontation among the wolf princes. The three elders whispered among themselves, their expressions grave. The atmosphere was electric, charged with the potential for dramatic upheaval. After what felt like an eternity, they reached a decision.
Oliver, you will have your chance. If you defeat Stephen, his duties will be yours. Any other prince or princess may challenge as well.
The crowd gasped collectively. Everyone knew Zane Martell had earned his title by defeating the formidable Daemon. Oliver's chances seemed slim, but the stakes were too high for him to back down now.
Fine. Stephen, let's see what you've got.
As the arena cleared, tension peaked. Oliver transformed, grayish-brown feathers sprouting as he became a fierce goshawk. He flapped his wings, putting distance between him and Zane Martell. The transformation was swift, his body morphing into a deadly predator ready to strike.
You may have killed Damon, but you won't withstand my attacks.
I'll stand still. You have 3 moves. If I move, I lose.
The crowd was stunned by Zane Martell's confidence. Oliver's feathers crackled with energy as he prepared his attack. His eyes narrowed, focusing on his target. He knew this was his chance to prove his dominance and remove Steven from his path.
Rock golden light.
2 sun-like orbs of energy formed on his wings, radiating intense heat. They shot out, scorching the ground as they approached Zane Martell. The heat was palpable, waves of it causing the air to shimmer. Zane Martell frowned, then extended an arm. He met the flames head-on, scattering one to the ground and sending the other into the sky where it exploded harmlessly. The crowd gasped in disbelief, murmuring amongst themselves about the strength and composure of their new wolf prince.
Damn it! I still have 2 moves. Thunderflame, golden body.
Oliver's feathers ignited, his body glowing with a faint golden light as he charged. His claws, sharp and black, seemed unstoppable. The arena buzzed with excitement, everyone on the edge of their seats.
Iron Body, activate.
Runes glowed on Zane Martell's skin as he tightened his fist, meeting Oliver's charge with a powerful punch.
My Thunderflame golden body is invulnerable. You can't...
Before he could finish, Zane Martell's punch landed squarely on his cheek. Teeth flew, and Oliver crashed into the ground, dazed and defeated. The crowd erupted in shock, the air thick with disbelief and excitement. As Oliver lay in the dust, staring blankly at the sky, the crowd erupted in disbelief. What would happen next in this battle of princes? Who would dare challenge Zane Martell now? The arena buzzed with excitement and speculation, everyone eager to see what the future held for the new Wolf Prince. In the heart of the Dark Wolf Hall, where power and pride intertwined, tensions ran high. The arena was abuzz with anticipation, and the stakes were never higher. The vast expanse of the hall was filled with spectators, their eyes glued to the center stage. The atmosphere was electric, the air thick with the excitement and nervous energy of the crowd. A laugh pierced through the murmur of the crowd, causing a ripple of unease.
Sorry, I can't hold back. Is His Highness Oliver actually cracking a joke? But that is quite tacky, eh?
I thought His Highness Stephen was the one with a knack for jokes. Turns out Oliver is the real entertainer. Someone stopped me from laughing. My stomach hurts.
Hundreds of thousands of spectators erupted into laughter, their voices blending into a cacophony of mockery. The sound was deafening, a chorus of ridicule that echoed through the hall. Oliver's fury ignited like a wildfire. He struggled to rise from the massive hole he had been thrown into, his teeth gnashing with a ferocious anger. His pride was shattered, and the scorn of the crowd was like salt on an open wound. The pain of his injuries was nothing compared to the sting of humiliation.
Damn it, Steven! Steven, I'm going to end you.
Zane Martell, known as Steven, had not only injured Oliver, but trampled on his dignity. The current Oliver no longer cared about the rules. His voice boomed with rage, the fire in his eyes burning with a desire for revenge. The crowd's laughter only fueled his anger, his determination to fight back intensifying.
Kill, 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 Steven. If you don't want to die, show me your strongest killing move. Otherwise, die.
As Oliver roared, the 2 shadows of the sun on his wings slowly enlarged, releasing a dazzling light that swaddled him completely. He transformed into an enormous goshawk, a sun in his own right with sharp beaks and claws that dwarfed the arena. The transformation was awe-inspiring, a display of raw power and fierce determination. His form glowed with a blinding brilliance, casting long shadows across the arena floor.
If Oliver released his real body, would he be Steven's opponent?
Hard to say. Didn't you see how Steven easily knocked Oliver down just now? His strength might be more than we know.
Zane Martell sneered, a glint of confidence in his eyes. He stood tall, exuding an aura of invincibility. The crowd watched in rapt attention, sensing the impending clash of titans. Every eye was on the 2 figures at the center of the arena, the tension building to a fever pitch.
My strongest move? Then I'll show you the Chunyuan sword formation.
His body emitted a glow and a sword formation shot out, covering the entire arena, including Oliver. A frightening sword vigor emanated from him, the air around him crackling with energy. The intensity of his power was palpable, sending shivers down the spines of those watching. The spectators could feel the sheer force of his technique, their awe mixed with a sense of dread at the destructive potential displayed before them.
Raging Eagle Bomb.
The enormous Goshawk inhaled deeply, releasing a massive energy pillar mixed with lightning and fire. Its aura was shocking, a testament to Oliver's formidable strength. The energy swirled violently, a storm of power ready to unleash its wrath upon his opponent. Zane Martell roared in response, his voice echoing through the arena with a resonant, commanding presence.
The threat of sword energy, rise.
Oh, wisps of visible sword energy flashed by at an incredibly fast speed. Oliver's energy cannon was immediately cut into pieces upon meeting Zane Martell's sword energy. It was as if it was made of paper. The dense wisps of sword energy pelted Oliver's body like rain, piercing through him to form thumb-sized bloody holes. Each strike was precise, demonstrating Zane Martell's exceptional skill and control. The audience watched in stunned silence, unable to look away from the spectacle of Oliver's body being riddled with holes. Oliver twitched violently, blood spurting everywhere, his face contorted in agonizing pain. He was reaching his limit, his strength waning. The crowd gasped, the atmosphere thick with tension and fear. The sight of Oliver's suffering sent a wave of horror through the spectators, who could scarcely believe the brutality of the scene unfolding before them.
Stop! Let's call off the fight! Stop!
But Zane Martell stood firm, unmoved. Oliver screamed in desperation, his voice cracking under the weight of his defeat. The realization of his impending loss hit him hard. The bitter taste of failure almost too much to bear.
I surrender, I surrender.
Finally, Zane Martell waved his hand, and the Tianyuan sword formation stopped. Oliver's enormous wings had sustained hundreds of holes, his feathers fallen off. Blood flowed from hundreds of wounds, but none were fatal. Zane Martell had avoided vital parts with every strike. Oliver's scalp tingled with fear as he stared at Zane Martell. The humiliation of his defeat weighed heavily on him, his pride shattered.
This Stephen, if he wanted to, he could have killed me 100 times over. Note to self, never make an enemy of him.
Aaron spoke up seriously, his voice cutting through the silence, a calm yet firm presence in the aftermath of the chaos.
Oliver, don't feel ashamed of yourself. I'm familiar with this.
Chagrin painted Oliver's face as he returned to his human form, his skin peeled and pathetic. He addressed the three elders, his voice tinged with regret and humility. The weight of his failure pressed down on him, his eyes downcast.
First elder, I've embarrassed myself.
Your life comes first. Is anyone willing to challenge him again?
Everyone exchanged glances, amazed by Zane Martell's strength. Even Oliver, a wolf prince, had ended up like this. Who else would dare to challenge him? The silence was deafening, a testament to the fear and respect Zane Martell commanded. After a long silence, Madame Evelyn finally announced,
"Well, that's the end of the coronation ceremony. In less than 10 days, the sect competition of Eastern Palm will begin. Everyone, you must give your all in cultivating and strive to get a good ranking."
The crowd dispersed, each returning to their own homes. Zane Martell's thoughts churned, his mind racing with possibilities. The upcoming competition loomed large in his mind, a challenge he was determined to conquer.
The sect competition. I have to improve my realm as soon as possible. The Godwill sect will definitely attend. Maybe it's a good chance to inquire about Alora's situation.
Eric Helm approached him, his face lit with excitement, the prospect of adventure evident in his eager expression.
Larry Shaw, let's get going.
There's no rush. Didn't you want to enter the Sky Spring land to cultivate? Come with me. I'll get you a token.
Zane Martell snickered. Eric Helm's eyes lit up with excitement, his eagerness palpable. The anticipation of new experiences and the promise of growth filled him with enthusiasm.
Really?
Soon, Zane Martell and the others went to the sect to get a Sky Spring token. Though Eric Helm wasn't from the Dark Wolf Hall and wasn't eligible, Zane Martell used both soft and hard tactics, flaunting his identity as His Highness Wolf to show off his power. Reluctantly, the other party agreed and handed the token to Eric Helm. Zane Martell instructed the Blade Squad to return while he and Eric Helm headed to the Sky Springland via the transmitting formation. With a loud bam, the formation activated. They appeared in a dimly lit house. Zane Martell gave Eric Helm a tour, introducing him to the Sky Spring. They then separated, finding caves suitable for their cultivation. The highest mountain valley, filled with the most abundant vital energy and rich nature elements, had caves that were almost always occupied. Yet an exception was made for the Wolf Prince. The air was thick with the natural essence, and the surroundings buzzed with potent energy. Zane Martell sat down, circulating the devouring dragon technique as he began to practice. Despite breaking through to the first stage of the advanced level recently, his numerous fortuitous encounters had filled his vital energy. He was close to another breakthrough. The energy within him churned, a powerful current ready to push him to the next level. 5 hours passed. A gentle breeze blew as the vital energy in his body churned like a flood. His flesh and blood wriggled, and the essence pill in his energy center disappeared, replaced by a tiny dragon spirit body. It rose into the air, emitting a low dragon roar. Zane Martell's aura surged to the second stage of the advanced level, his power growing exponentially. But would Zane Martell's newfound power be enough?